Danny Garcia says he's moving up to 154 pounds and he wants that rematch with Keith Thurman. I'm going to quote Swift. He says, honestly, I would like to go up to 154. Me and Thurman can fight at 154. My goal in boxing was to be a 3-division world champion at 140, 147, and 154. I fought everyone at 147 and 140. I thought I beat Porter and Thurman. I did everything I was supposed to do at 147, even though I didn't unify the division like I wanted to, but I still became a champion. The next chapter of my career is at 154. I'll go up to 154, and I'm still a bigger name than all the dudes at 154. They need someone like me in that division to help them bring more light to it. He goes on to say, boxing is all about matchmaking. If I get the right matches at 154, that's what it's all about. I'll get a couple of fights to break myself in, then I'll go for the gusto like I always do. I'll be more active at that weight. I'll be strong and throw more punches. I'll be a lot sharper and stronger. Sometimes losing all of this weight doesn't help you. It just drains you and stresses you out. As you get older, you have to move up in weight so you can feel more comfortable and stronger. Just like every other great in boxing history, they all did it. All right, those are the words of Danny Swift Garcia. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is he looked like a small man in there against Errol Spence. And yeah, Errol Spence is a fairly big welterweight, but compared to the guys at 154, Errol Spence looks small. So Danny Garcia is going to go up against guys who are even bigger and even stronger than Errol Spence. I don't see that ending well for him. He did say that boxing is all about matchmaking, and that's true. Perhaps he plans on picking the right fight at the right time against the right opponent. But in the current landscape at 154, do you see anyone there who you think Danny Garcia could beat in terms of the champions? Let me know in the comment section below. As far as fighting Keith Thurman at 154, well, I guess that makes sense. They can both move up and have more energy when they have a rematch. Yeah, that's definitely something that makes sense. But in terms of fighting the top guys, and I'm not including the two of them in that right now because they haven't proven themselves in that division. I think Keith Thurman has fought at 154 once or twice, hasn't he? Off the top of my head, I swear he's fought at 154 once or twice, or maybe slightly over the welterweight limit. So I don't know. I don't think either one of them is going to be doing anything spectacular at 154. I'd be surprised if, at least for the foreseeable future, any one of them becomes champion. But you never know. Maybe they've got some tricks up their sleeve and are a lot more proficient at dealing with big fighters than I'm giving them credit for here. Now, with Keith Thurman, he does have movement. You see, with Danny Garcia, he's a static fighter. He's not somebody who is that much of a mover. He does actually box quite well on the back foot against pressure fighters, but he's not as nimble as Keith Thurman. You know, people jokingly stopped calling Keith Thurman one time and started calling him run time because he employed so much movement in so many of his fights at championship level. So with Keith Thurman's movement, could he have some success maybe against the guys at 154? Possibly, but I still don't like his chances. Keith Thurman doesn't have particularly long arms, if you've noticed. So he's a guy that moves a lot and he's a solid, muscular kind of guy, but he doesn't have a frame to me that would translate very well at 154. I know some people are going to say, well, look at Miguel Cotto, he moved up to 154 and then 160 pounds eventually. Yeah, that's true. Is Keith Thurman on the level of a Miguel Cotto? Is he that good? Is he that talented? Does he have that good of a boxing brain? You guys let me know what you think. And yeah, just the concept, the whole idea of Danny Garcia moving up to 154 and trying to become a 3-division champion. Do you think he can accomplish that? And look, I'm definitely not against it. Look, you got to do whatever you got to do in your career. At the end of the day, Danny Garcia has got to where he's at by believing in himself. So I'm not trying to discourage him. I'm just giving you my thoughts on whether I think it's going to work out for him. I'm all for the Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman rematch. I'm not massively excited about it, but, I'd watch it. The first fight was fairly decent. Danny Garcia just got outmaneuvered by Keith Thurman for the most part. And when you look back at that Errol Spence performance against Danny Garcia, it just gets more and more impressive the more you think about it, because Errol Spence was coming off that horrendous car crash. We didn't know where he was going to be at. He wasn't even 100% in the Danny Garcia fight, and he admitted that himself after the fight. How could you be after such a terrible car crash and all the time he spent out the ring? So he wasn't even 100%. But yet he went in there and he dominated Danny Garcia like nobody else ever has. Sean Porter didn't do that to Danny Garcia. Keith Thurman certainly didn't do that to Danny Garcia. But Errol Spence did, so, really tremendous performance by him. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about all the points I've raised in this video.